Lindsay Hilson reporting. Joanna Bogle, Catholic blogger and volunteer for the charity Aid to the Church in Need, and Dr. Rachel Bagley, head of Christian Aid, its HIV programme, join us now. Rachel Bagley, you are confronted with these problems. Do you see abstinence as working?
I certainly think abstinence is an important part of a package, but abstinence is not the only thing that's going to prevent HIV transmission anywhere in the world. A lot of people already have HIV infection. When you have a couple that are discordant, one positive, one negative, one obviously has to use condoms. And for many people who are sexually active, and haven't formed a stable relationship, condoms are a very important part of preventing HIV wherever you are in the world.
Joanna Bogle, let's take that instance of a couple, a married couple, one of whom has AIDS and the other doesn't. Clearly, a condom is the only intelligent thing to do.
No, if I have a lethal disease, I cannot transmit it to somebody else. It's immoral to do that. And it's no use saying that you think a bit of rubber will protect you. Let's take the real cases. A prostitute in the back streets of Harare. It's absolute nonsense to say that because a condom might work under controlled conditions in failing to transmit the disease, it's actually going to work with a boy who is drunk, who is fumbling, who is brutal. We've got to look at what actually happens. So your advice to that
prostitute would be to demand, for moral grounds, that the man does not use a condom?
No. I would say to the prostitute, you don't have to have sex with this guy and he cannot force you to have sex with him. The church is there for your human dignity, and we do work with prostitutes. We're there where nobody else is. We're there in the back streets of Harare. You can't say to a woman, please allow yourself to be exploited. You may die of this deadly disease, and you only need to have sex with somebody once for that to happen. It's lethal.
Dr. Bagley.
I really want to disagree with the fact that condoms don't work. There have been a lot of studies with discordant couples, and where they're used consistently, they're highly, highly effective.
But you see, you're getting this wrong. You only need one encounter, and there are women whose husbands used condoms,
but
and then one time they didn't. You can't say...
What about the central message here, which is that the Pope is clearly condemning many, many people, innocent people in Africa, to death?
No, he's not. He's doing the one thing that will say you can't, absolutely cannot get AIDS if you abstain.
Millions of people are going to die from this.
22 million people have got AIDS now because of the condom campaign is making it worse, not better. And the one country where it worked, in Uganda, was where the Catholics and everybody admitted it worked.
22 million people have AIDS because of condoms.
No, I didn't say that. I said
that's what you said.
No, we admit the figure. We admit that they're using condoms. You make that correlation. I am saying the Pope is offering an alternative which could save lives.
You're getting awfully fierce.
I am getting fierce. We're talking about people dying.
No, this is one of the fiercest interviews I've ever heard.
Well,
we're talking about God and Christ and all this stuff, and you're getting awfully hot.
Dying.
What about you, Rachel?
I would like to say that actually there's been a huge amount of hope across Africa. If you look at the HIV prevalence rates amongst young people over the past 10 years, it's actually gone down in a lot of countries. And this has been because young people have had comprehensive HIV and sexual health education programs. If you look in Uganda, they've had a very huge amount of HIV education, treatment for people with HIV, and comprehensive HIV prevention for young people, including enormous numbers of condoms distributed.
So condoms clearly work. You're not opposed to that. I mean, that's clearly obviously right, isn't it?
Listen to the facts. When the AIDS epidemic in Uganda started going up, it was when they introduced condoms. Before that, it had gone down using only the Catholic method. Uganda is one of the most Catholic countries in Africa, 43%. So it has been a success in Africa using the Catholic method. As soon as you got the condom campaign, the figures went up again. Look at Botswana, where they have a huge
Uganda
problem.
actually is a country for which we have reported extensively, and the facts show that as soon as George Bush's policy of abstinence came in, the use of condoms went up. Is that correct?
That is not true, and you know it's not true.
There's a huge correlation in many, many countries with the use of condoms and a decrease in the instance of HIV.
This is not the case.
If you look, and it's not only across Africa, it's in other countries.
Well,
have you ever talked to any of the priests in Africa who advocate the condom?
Let's look at one of the other countries you mentioned, the Philippines. That was one of the first countries where AIDS was detected, there and in Thailand. In the Philippines, thanks to the Catholic policies, it's now 0.03% 50% have AIDS. In Thailand, it's gone through the roof, and they have an increased problem
What
of
about
child
condoms
prostitution.
in the Philippines, as we've got out of
So
Africa?
you know it doesn't work. Why not try the one thing
certainly-
that might work? We're talking death here.
We have enormous amounts of evidence from Thailand that where they instituted what was called a 100% condom policy, where there was a huge campaign from government, from civil society, to make sure that everyone used condoms when they were having sex, particularly
rate went
sex.
up, didn't
no,
it?
Well,
absolutely
So
afraid-
why did it go down in the one
Absolute.
country where they tried the Catholic way?
Alas,
we're
the
talking
Grim Reaper
death.
has called time, and Joanna Bogle and Dr. Rachel Bagley, thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you.
Now, in times of economic hardship, charities are feeling the pinch. With the details, here's Samira.